Alright, yo, what is up guys, Junior here, and today we're going to be covering the best attachments to use and in general the best class setup for the RAM-7. Now if you do enjoy this video and find it helpful, make sure to drop a like and have post notifications turned on. So I'm going to be releasing a video every single day on Call of Duty, whether that's the best classes or Warzone tips. Now if you guys have any ideas, then make sure to drop a comment down below. And that's all for the intro guys, let's get right into it. Now the RAM-7 is a very powerful gun. I would have to say that it's a lot better than the Holger 26, and I think that a lot of you guys can agree with me. And so of course, as I always do, I have done some weapon research and some testing myself. And what I have discovered is that from 5 to 25 meters, the gun is a 4-shot kill to the body, which is not too bad as it's on par with the M4A1, which I did some testing for in a previous video. Then at 30 to 45 meters, it's a 5-shot kill, and from 50 to 60 meters, it's a 6-shot kill. Now for this reason, this is definitely a viable weapon in the game, and you can certainly compete against the likes of an M4. But I will have to say that the sprint to fire speed for this weapon is very slow, and you will quickly notice that you can't necessarily rush with this gun. Another negative of this gun is that it does have a lot of idle sway. Now when engaging in a long range gunfight, you will notice a lot of sway on your gun, and you will notice that it doesn't have the best stability. And for this reason we have put some attachments on this gun to counteract those negatives. Now a lot of people are going to say that they had mixed feelings between the RAM and the M4. If you take a look at the stats, the M4 and the RAM are both very similar guns. However, the edge actually does go to the RAM-7. Alright, now first let's dive into the class setup that I do recommend for this gun. So for the muzzle, I'm rocking the monolithic suppressor. I have spoken about why this is superior to the integrated suppressor in my MP5 video. There will be a link to that in the description if you want to check that out. Now we're using the monolithic suppressor as this is going to give us that sound suppression as well as the damage range. Now this gives us around an 8% increase of damage range. Also, I do like this attachment because of the sound suppression, as I do like to remain as stealthy as possible, which goes with my playstyle. Now for the next attachment, we're going to be running the Forged Tech Eclipse. Now the reason that I'm running this attachment is because it has the least amount of penalties. For example, if you're using the Ranger foregrip, yes, it does actually give you more damage range and bullet velocity, and as well as recoil control, but the cons are aim down sight speed as well as movement speed, which are really just not worth it in my opinion, especially if you're playing multiplayer. Those penalties are going to actually cost you a lot of gunfights, and the damage range increase that you do get with the Ranger barrel is not that significant. Alright, so for the next attachment, we're going to be running the Commander foregrip. Now the rate of fire on the RAM-7 is very high. It's about 860 rounds per minute, which is a lot higher than the M4. Now as I said before, when you're going to be firing this weapon, it's going to have a lot of recoil, and so it's going to be quite hard to control. But when adding the Commander foregrip, matching it up with the Forged Tech Eclipse reduces the recoil substantially. Alright, and so for the ammunition, we're going to be running the 50 round mags. By default, they're going to 30 rounds, which honestly for the fire rate of this gun is not enough, especially in multiplayer as it's a lot more fast paced than Warzone. You're going to be in contact with a lot more enemies and you're going to have to constantly reload. And so with the 50 round mags, you're going to have the insurance that you don't need to reload every 10 seconds. Alright, so for the final attachment, we're going to be running the stippled grip tape. Now people have been complaining about stippled or stippled. I say stippled, but I guess it's personal preference. Now this is going to help us with ADS speed as well as sprint to fire speed. So moving on to the rest of my setup. For perks, I usually run the Specialist additional 3 perks, as I feel like kill streaks in this game aren't really worth grinding for, as they can be taken down very easily. And that's why personally I use the 3 extra perks. Just having those perks unlocked in the game, including the recon and the sleight of hand weapon perks that you can get additionally, they definitely all help to keep you alive as long as possible, and they give you the upper hand against opponents. Right, so my 3 main perks. For the first perk, I'm running EOD. Now EOD is going to give me protection against explosives, which is really important in this game, as in my playstyle I tend to rush a lot, I tend to flank, and I tend to stick to the sides of the maps. And in my experiences, I have encountered a lot of proximity mines and claymores, and the occasional C4 being thrown at me. And so EOD saves me a bunch of unnecessary deaths, and that's why I would highly recommend it. Now for the second perk, I'm going to be running Ghost. I never run a class without Ghost, because in this game it's really easy to get UAVs, especially using the Point Man perk. And so we definitely want to use this perk as it's going to keep us as stealthy as possible, as enemies won't be able to see us on the radar. Now for perk number 3, this is one that depends on what you're using, and I'll get to that in a little bit. Now for the main part, I do use Tracker. Now some people may frown upon this, but the reason that I use this is because of my playstyle. As I said, I like to flank and I like to stick to the outskirts of the map. Now a lot of people do go on the outskirts of the map and try to flank, as they have the same sort of playstyle as myself. And so we're going to be encountering a lot of enemies. And as you all know, the minimap doesn't work the same way as it did in previous CODs. And so the main thing nowadays is intel. Intel is everything. And seeing enemy footprints is going to give me a massive advantage in locating where potential enemies are. It's going to allow me to see where the previous footsteps from the enemies were. and I can just track them down by following them. Now don't go following footsteps blindly, of course. You have to assess the situation. Now you could end up leading yourself into a trap where there are multiple enemies waiting there. And then you could find yourself in a tough situation where you're against 3 enemies, and that's not always fun, is it? So you should be smart and methodical in your approach. Now by dropping a like, it shows me that this is the type of content that you guys do enjoy watching, and it shows that it's enjoyable and can be helpful to some people. I've done a class setup for the Vector, which I will leave down below in the description as well. I haven't done a class setup on the AMAX yet, so if you guys do want to see that, drop a like. Now if you guys did stay to the end of the video, I want you guys to comment down bot, capital B, capital O, capital T, so I know that you guys have seen it. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.